I'll Sleep in Your Dreams by HollowNightmare. Chapter 1. You busy? Oi. I know you're there, shitty mackerel. Stop hiding. Dazai. Something that feels suspiciously like panic courses through Dazai's veins at that. He's been relaxing on the agency's couch, taking advantage of Kanekida's momentary absence and relishing every second of it. Or at least, that's what he wants his co-workers to think. Mostly, he's trying to stay awake. He hasn't slept in, 2 days? 3? And things have started to get a bit blurry. If he has to be honest, which he doesn't, he's fallen asleep a few times already since he sat on the couch. Chuuya's first text woke him up, and the second kept him from dozing off again. The third one made him snort. The fourth one made him chuckle at his phone like an idiot. Dazai doesn't really know where the next 15 minutes went. He blames them on his stupid, tired brain. But the last text, Dazai is awake now. Because here's the thing, Chuuya doesn't text like this. He doesn't like to be ignored, ergo he'll keep sending texts until he receives an answer. He doesn't just give up only to get back at it after a quarter of an hour, and he most certainly doesn't call Dazai by his name. By the time he registers what's wrong, his body has already taken him away from the couch, and he's sliding an arm into his coat. Never too busy for you, chibi. A bit sleepy though. His phone rings. Dazai has never accepted a call this quickly. Say, slug, what? Stop talking. There's an urgency to Chuuya's voice. An urgency that stops Dazai from saying something rude and makes him keep his mouth shut. He doesn't like it. I need you to not start asking questions, mackerel. I know how unreasonable that sounds, but just... Can we meet at your house? Dazai is wide awake now. Of course that's unreasonable, he wants to scream. He doesn't need a lot of elements to understand what's going on, but he does need some of them. He doesn't know what he's about to walk into, doesn't know what happened, doesn't know how Chuuya is. Nothing about this is reasonable. He's about to tell the chibi as much, but he bites his tongue. He doesn't know what's going on, and that means the less he talks, the less he risks creating problems for both himself and Chuuya. I'll be there in 10, he says, ending the call. He walks out of the agency without bothering to tell anyone. He gets there before Chuuya does. Dazai opens the door to his apartment slowly, not really feeling like getting inside because the moment he gets in there, he'll have to deal with the situation, which means keeping it together, and he's way too tired for that. He's tired and worried, and his mind is racing because he doesn't know what's going on, which is so terrifying Dazai almost feels sick. It's kinda embarrassing that the chibi is the cause of this, he thinks, but he hasn't got the strength to feel embarrassed as well right now. He steps into his apartment with an inward sigh, and he closes the door behind him without locking it. Chuuya should get there soon. Dazai had sorely wishes Chibi had picked a better time. It's not that he doesn't want to help. He's pretty sure he'd be willing to do anything for the hat rack, which is a terrifying thought he doesn't dwell on. It's just that he knows he's not in the best condition to give help. The initial panic got him on his feet and to his home, but it's gone now, replaced by a kind of worry that permeates his every thought, and it's easier to brush aside because of its constants. Not that Dazai wants to brush it aside. He runs a hand through his hair and takes a deep breath. I can do this. I've had to do worse things than powering through the need to sleep. He goes to get himself a glass of water from the kitchen sink, flinching at the sound of the water running. So loud. He feels a bit more awake, which is a good thing, because as soon as he swallowed the last drop of water, he hears knocking. Come in, chibi, he chirps, feeling what little energy he had draining out of him. Chuuya steps inside. He looks okay, Dazai notices. No blood on him, no dark circles under his eyes, no limbs bent at the wrong angles. What? He begins, but Chuuya cuts him off. No questions, mackerel. Then you better start talking, slug, because I don't know what I'm dealing with here. He doesn't bother trying to sound cheerful. Chuuya lets himself fall on his couch, and Dazai joins him, willing his eyes to stay open. I guess you weren't joking when you said you were sleepy. The chibi mutters, and Dazai would roll his eyes, but he doesn't feel like wasting energy. Why would I lie? Because you're so used to lies, you probably don't see the point in telling the truth. Chuuya replies coolly, then clamps his hand over his mouth, eyes widening with shock. Shit, Dazai, fuck, I didn't mean it. It hurts because of course he meant it. You did, it's okay. It's not, shit. He takes a shaky breath. I told you not to ask any questions, please just don't. What's happening? What's wrong? Dazai's mind is chanting and he really, really wants to ask. Because he's worried and also because Chuuya just hurt him and he's petty. He closes his eyes. Stop, you're tired and thus more prone to acting without thinking first. Chuuya needs help, otherwise he wouldn't have asked you to meet him. You can be petty later. Okay, Chibi, I can do that. He opens his eyes. I would like an explanation, of course, and if you can't give me one, I'll try to do without. It would be helpful to know what you need from me, though. His head hurts. Dazai is used to choosing each of his words carefully, but the exhaustion makes it difficult. He's so tired he actually wants to sleep now, and he just needs to be sure they aren't in any imminent danger first. Chuuya nods. I know it's not ideal for you. This is as close an apology as he's going to get. It's not, but I am a genius. It'll be fine. Yeah, I know. It's why I'm here, goes unsaid, but Dazai hears it anyway. So, Chibi, I would appreciate it if you could tell me whether or not I have to expect armed people to show up on my doorstep. Chuuya laughs without humor. No, nothing like that, Mackerel. We're safe. And I'm fine. Don't think I haven't seen you scanning me as soon as I got here. Dazai feels relief running through him. He's okay. What's wrong then? He can feel his thoughts spiraling. He has no idea what's going on, and he's really way too tired to be dealing with this. Are you seriously falling asleep? He flinches. So loud. It doesn't seem to me like you'll be explaining things anytime soon, Chibi, so forgive me for going back to what I was planning to do before you arrived. Not really the truth, as he'd been trying to avoid sleep until 2 minutes ago, but it's not like the slug knows. How long since you last slept? Chuuya asks, because of course he does. Dazai shrugs minutely. Couple of days, possibly 3. Are you actually stupid? Genius, my ass. You can't even look after yourself properly. He pinches the bridge of his nose, closing his eyes. You know what, Mackerel? Just go to sleep. There's nothing I would like to do more, Hatrack, but I still don't know what's happening and I'd rather not wake up with you gone. You're insufferable. A few seconds pass, then... I was on a mission. My team got drugged. Ah, Dazai thinks. He'd like to come up with a sneaky reply, but his brain feels like mud and his thoughts are all jumbled. Which means you got drugged as well. Chuuya glares at him sulkily. Yeah, stupid gas or some shit. They had an ability user. I still don't understand why you're here, Chibi. The Hatrack mutters something under his breath. Now this should be interesting. I didn't catch that. It was some kind of truth thing. Truth serum, whatever. This was worth staying awake for. Dazai's eyes gleam. I see, he says, because he does. Everyone has secrets, and if you're a mafia executive, your secrets are to be guarded carefully. Against your enemies, of course, but also against your colleagues, and against your boss especially. Mori will want to come here, but he won't dare. Chuuya nods. And I should be out of your hair by tomorrow. I don't think this is permanent. Well, that's a relief, Dazai thinks. He'd like to tell the slug as much, but his eyelids drop and suddenly everything loses importance. Stupid mackerel. He hears Chuuya say, then he falls asleep. He dreams of blood and sweet smiles hiding pointed teeth. He dreams of scalpels and knives and umbrellas. He dreams of scars on warm corpses and then he's screaming himself raw, because his mind is a scary, disgusting place and he shouldn't have fallen asleep. Shut the fuck up, mackerel. Chuuya is whispering, running cold fingers through his hair. You were dreaming, it's fine. Dazai wants to laugh, but his throat hurts. How long? 2 hours. 2 hours of sleep should get him through the next day, he thinks. The nightmares are almost worth it. He stretches his legs. I've been an awful host, Chibi. I'm gonna make tea. Chuuya hums. I'm awake, Dazai thinks as he puts the kettle on. I'm awake. You okay? Never better, slug. He wants to ask if Chuuya is okay, but the Hatrack doesn't want him asking questions. It's almost painful, knowing Chuuya can't lie and not asking a single thing. Part of Dazai wants to take advantage of that situation, but it's not a part of himself he's proud of. He keeps whispering in his head, don't you want to know what he really thinks about you? Don't you want to know what his biggest secret is? Of course he does, of course, but Chuuya came to him thinking it would be safe, trusting him, and Dazai doesn't want to break his trust. It's happened too many times already. The water is boiling. He pours it in a teapot, burning one of his fingertips in the process. He welcomes the pain. It helps him stay awake. The tea is supposed to go in first, mackerel. Ah, of course. His hands are trembling. Still sleepy, I guess. He offers, but he knows Chuuya isn't fooled. He adds some loose tea leaves to the water, trying to still his mind. He really hates nightmares. I don't think you're okay, Chuuya says offhandedly, and isn't that ironic? I'm pretty sure you're not faring a lot better yourself, Chibi. Why? because if I were you right now, I'd be terrified. He has a lot of secrets he'd like to keep. Chuuya stares at him for a bit. Didn't think you would be. I like to think I can keep a cool head in any situation, but that doesn't mean I don't feel things, chibi. Why did I just say that? Dazai can't breathe. The air has been sucked out of his lungs. He can't breathe because he just realized what he said is true. I know, Chuuya says. I just didn't think you felt fear. Dazai wants to laugh, or cry possibly. Of course I do, every time you use corruption, every time you call me in the middle of the night, and every time I call you in the middle of the night. Every time you're hurt, every time you look at me, because if you saw who I am, I'm pretty sure you'd leave. It was you who taught me fear, he whispers, pouring tea into 2 cups. He's tired. So that was chapter 1. I hope you enjoyed it. This fic is so special to me. It's like one of the more creative ways on taking the truth serum bit, and how Chuuya just immensely trusts Dazai in keeping his secrets and not asking him questions. It's so special to me. I love it so much. Thank you so much, HollowNightmare, for your permission to podfic this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope my lines were clearer than last time, at least. I'm still not sure when chapter 2 is going to be posted, but I think it's about the next weekend, not this weekend, because I still have many more fics to podfic, and I'm gonna alternate between one-shots and multi-chapters in the meantime. So yeah, tell me your thoughts. Thank you for listening, and till next time.